Brakthea Howell, Brakthea Washai, Brakthea Howell, Brakthea Washai, Brakthea Howell, Brakthea Howell, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim Tazadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the Pre-Shamana, this week's topic is going to be entitled Pedophilia. There is no new thing under the sun, and the inspiration for the show comes from this Jeffrey Epstein case, which is being picked up by major news outlets. There was a time when the internet wasn't around. I know somebody in this situation, this thing wouldn't go public, but you have independent media, alternative news, and they're just bringing out tons of information about this guy Jeffrey Epstein, which pretty much he's a double agent for the CIA. Not double agent. He's intelligence for the CIA and the Mossad, which is the Israeli intelligence agency. Pretty much, this guy is proof. It's been proven already, via his helicopter and this enormous connection that he was backed by the CIA and the Israeli intelligence. And what they did was they used him as a honey trapper. And a honey trapper basically is one who trap very high profile political, not just political, entertainers, anyone who has high influence in society. They'll pretty much trap them in some type of scandal. Jeffrey Epstein's scandal just seemed to be young woman. He what they call pedophilia, which the women that they claimed that he was dealing with were 14, 15 years old. Now, according to the scriptures, 14, 15 years old, puberty is it's not unlawful to deal with a woman of that age, despite his age. What was unlawful, according to the Bible, was what he was doing with them, such as orgies, bestiality, child sacrifices. The list goes on, man. All right, because there's an underground child trafficking ring that's global. Epstein is just one face of it, but pretty much this guy has ties to the Clintons, the Trumps, the Rothschilds, and these names are very powerful names. And it seems certain people are saying that Benjamin Netanyahu has a hand in this because he has ties to EU Barak, which is going against Benjamin Netanyahu today. And I mean, he has great political ties. He's pretty much set up and backed by so-called Jewish billionaires, which a so-called Jew in the Bible is referred to as Amalek, and they're the tribe of Esau Edom. They're perpetrating to be the real Jews, which the real Jews are the Negroes that you see today. That's backed up by Jeremiah 14:2. So I'm going to read Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, then I'm going to make a few points, and Lord willing, sign out. Ecclesiastes 1:9, the thing that hath been, it is. It's like the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Pretty much going into reincarnation, pretty much history repeats itself. That's a saying, and that saying is true. There's a video on YouTube entitled 10 Reasons Why Perverts Would Love the Roman Empire. And when you watch this video, it's, if you're a man of the Lord, it's sickening, some of the things that these Romans were doing. But when you look into it, it's a lot of things that these Edomites practice. They practice in secret. Let me see. Let me get wicked womb. Psalms 58. This is Psalms chapter 58, verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go estranged as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So it says the wicked are estranged from the womb. Who's the wicked? Job 9:24, Malachi 1:4. Is these Edomites, these so-called white people. In fact, they admitted it on RT that most of the people on Epstein's list were so-called rich, elite, white men, because that's what these Edomites are into. They're into crazy shit. Here it is, they might take these women, and they could be, hey man, I've Googled some of the, the women that he was taking. They were beautiful. They were dealing with models, man. They were recruiting models. All right, they weren't dealing with no ugly. No, they was dealing with the most choice woman that they wanted to deal with. They was doing some crazy shit with them, taking them on yachts and defecating on them, pissing on them, having them shit on each other. You know, just some crazy shit. You know, have them have sex with each other. You know, commit or just all sick, vile acts, some weird shit, man. And some of these women go beyond the restriction of the scriptures. All right, which you know, at 12 years old, a woman is considered a woman. I know that's, you know, strange to the Western way of thinking, but the Bible is an Eastern book. And you have to apply these Eastern customs. Once a woman has a period and she can have kids, that's what she was seen as a woman. But in fact, I think it was the book of Mark. Just let me prove that. I believe it's Mark 12 and 47 or 44. Let me see. Let me just prove that real quick. Damsel. Mark 5 and 42. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years old. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. So the same word damsel is used also in the book of Deuteronomy when it talks about raping a damsel. Now, rape, there's laws concerning the rape, which is taking a woman by force. It wasn't something that was okay, let's go rape women, let's go. No, it wasn't like that. But it was the law. The Lord gave situation on it because certain times a man might see a woman and just get burned in his desires, and there are certain ways to go about it. This was to happen. Now, the reason these elites are pretty much doing all these things is because it's in their spirit to do it. The scripture says there's no new thing under the sun. They were doing this thing back in ancient Rome, and you had a lot of jakes that got caught up into that filth. But the Most High delivered them up into that filth, and yes, homosexuality is referred to as a vile, wicked act, and is punishable by death according to the Bible. All right, according to the Bible. I'm gonna read something. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 23. It says, "And change the glory of the uncorruptible power into the image made like unto corruptible man, and to the birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to the uncleanness, to the lust of their own hearts, to the sound of their bodies between themselves." And this is what they're doing today, all right? This is nothing but the ancient custom of Bacchus coming back. And that's also in that video that's on YouTube called 10 Reasons Why Perverts Would Love the Roman Empire. They was doing things like committing crazy orgies, pederasty, which the Greeks also did. All these customs that they did, not just in Greco-Roman empires, but the other heathens have been doing this going back all the way since the days of Ham. And these different particular empires, and they would also sacrifice kids to their deities. Now the thing today is it has to be done in secret because they have laws against it in this society. All right, in the West, the things that they were doing back then, which they did in the open, they have to do today in secret. So what the intelligence agencies say and figured is like, look, man, this isn't the nature of rich elite white men. All right, they want to act out their fantasies. In fact, this guy Epstein, when you went to him, he would normally sit like on a pulpit, and he would have two young women by his side. You know, this motherfucker got money out of nowhere. All right, he dropped out of college. Next thing you know, he's a billionaire. So that shows you they could just set people up. But it's in their nature to do, you know, whatever the fuck they want to do, and all these weird things. So the elites pretty much said, look, man, we could use this to put hanging over people's head. All right, J. Edgar Hoover was famous for that, man. All right. Which they had dirt on him because he liked to cross-dress and he was a homosexual. And the mob took pictures of him, all right, and they used it against him. So they've been blackmailing been a form of warfare for intelligence agencies even before the CIA was even established, man. Verse 25, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. So let it be. It says, for this cause the Most High gave them up to their vile affections, for even their woman did change the natural use unto that which is against nature. And likewise the men also, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lusts one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly. and receiving in themselves that recompense for their error, which was meat. See, so the Bible condemns homosexuality because it's not right. Because it's not the Bible's a procreation, and you can't procreate anything with two women lying together, two men lying together. All right. But Greek Romans, pretty much they had laws concerning dealing with pedophilia. Like when you watch the video I'm referring to on YouTube, a 12-year-old citizen of Rome was good to go. All right, but if you desire something younger than 12, what you would do is you would get a slave. And the rule, and pretty much, a slave is a slave. You get a 9-year-old, 8-year-old slave and do whatever the fuck you want with them. And it's the same thing being done today, except what? Except there's laws against it, so they have to do it in secret. And what they pretty much were doing was going around recruiting little girls, man. This guy Weinstein got caught. When you look at all the names, it's a lot of Steens and Steins and Bergs and basically a lot of so-called Jews, man. I just brought out Psalms 58:3, man. They're the chief wicked amongst these so-called white people, man. All right, but everything is being brought to light. This is the book of Luke. This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So there's a lot of big names attached to this guy. The public is behind it. They're trying to get his case to go to court. And what this guy did was a lot of the shit that he had. He has recordings, he has video, he has files. Pretty much he saved them on disk. He saved them on the old school way. That way you can't hack his shit online. So he's linked to billionaires, very elite people, man. Very elite people. And this proves that what? It proves that the elites are not all in agreement with one another. When you first come in, you think it's like a WWE match where they're all cool behind the scenes, but it's not so. It's more like Game of Thrones, where rich elite families would ally themselves with each other for a purpose, for means to an end to benefit each family. But they will stab each other in the back in a heartbeat if it could further their best interest, man. And you can see that Benjamin Netanyahu, he's a so-called Jew, and so is Ehud Barak. But guess what? Now you're going against me, so I'm gonna have dirt be released. So they got guys within the FBI that they could control and tap. So, and this also proves that the state of Israel pretty much has been controlling the United States forever, man. All right, they've been controlling the United States, and pretty much the United States has just been a proxy army for the state of Israel, man. If you look at the wars that are being held today, such as the Syrian war, the war for Iran, America don't need no fucking oil, man. What does America need? America's the number one exporter of oil. They do not need oil, man. They only import about 12% of their oil from international territories, and that's the bulk of that is what? Canada and Mexico. So it's not a war for oil, man. All right. Well, the United States doesn't benefit from Iran not exporting oil, but guess who does? The state of Israel. All right, because what they like to push is about regime change. It's about changing regime, but that's not really what it's about, man. It's about to maintain a constant war over there in the Middle East in Israel's best interest over pipelines, man, to cripple other economies such as China, North Korea. All right, which they have North Korea on their list too. It wasn't said in PNAC, but trust me, they have particular countries that they have on their list to control pipelines in certain regions. And the way you do that is have never-ending wars, man. So nobody will invest in that area. So Israel has been using the United States for the longest, and and this guy Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile ring is just one example of how they do it. Get politicians in your back pocket, politicians that could influence American foreign policy. But at the end of the day, guess what? They're all a bunch of Edomites, and no matter what they do, no matter what kind of plans they come up with, according to their Bible, their future judgment is slavery. All right? And the Mosai is the one that set y'all up, man. The Mosai is the one that put y'all in your position. But y'all came back with that same vile spirit that you had as the Romans, that you had as the Greeks. All right? And you doing secret, what you think are secret rituals, okay, to invoke the spiritual demon Satan and these demons to have your way out, to have your way manifested manifest yourself, have the things that you desire manifest itself physically in the earth. But guess what? It's all in the will of the Lord for a period of time, because Satan is under subjection to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Ecclesiastes 12 and 14, for the Most High shall bring every work into judgment, put every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So the Most High is bringing out all the evil deeds that we've been saying of these politicians, man. And most people in the world knew that, man. See, most people in the world, if you go, listen, man, most politicians are wicked. That's like, going up to a grown-ass man or an adult or somebody with some type of intelligence and telling them 2 + 2 = 4. They're going to look at you like, of course, right? But now it's just hard evidence behind it. A lot of it was word of mouth, all right, and some of it could be proven. A lot of it could be proven, but a lot of it was covered up. But now it's hard evidence. People got all the dossiers, the files, okay, and it's like up in the air what they're going to do with this guy because his trial is approaching. And I mean, the shit that he got, it goes up the ladder, man, because he got ties to not just 14-year-old prostitution, but grown adult prostitution and little boy prostitution, pederasty, which the Greeks were big on, man, bestiality rings, man. These elites are into some sick shit. They into some sick freak shit, man. And Hollywood entertainers. Hey, man, the list goes on. And I think I got a picture of one of the chicks. Look at this chick. I think she's like, I don't know. I just typed in Epstein. But as you can see, this woman on the left is a beautiful woman. Right? Now, she could have been 14, 15 years old. According to the Bible, that's, hey, I'm going to say it. According to the Bible, that's fair game, That's fair game. But according to the laws in the West and the views of the West, you could go to jail for that shit. Now, the reason these people are doing what they want to do is because they have all the money in the world. It's just like if we had all the money in the world to practice our law, statutes, and commandments, we could do it. But we can't do it. Why? Because we don't have any power. They have power. So all these ancient customs that they were keeping and the spirit that they had back on them, they could just enact it out because nothing could happen to them. They could have thousands of harems of slaves. Because back then the Romans did that. The Greeks did that. They had slaves, man. There was no rules on. You could do whatever you want with a slave, and that's what they do. They capture these women and make kids. All right, and it doesn't just stop there, man. They had when I was watching reading up on his case, we had one of these elites. One of his thing was to have Jake's. He put a ad out to have a Jake. He straight up said a Jake, a black man, sleep with his wife, and you see that in pornography. It's called cockled, CUCK, LD, something like that, man. Pretty much, you have these Edomites that they just obsessed with having their wives get banged out by Jakes, man. All right, and they recruit people like that, man. They might come up to you, hey man, man, you want to make a quick 200, 300, bro? Man, try to be slick, yo, bro. I know a quick way to make $500, man. Check this. The next thing you know, you getting recorded having sex with a politician and a goddamn horse. It sounds freaky and out there, but that's the type of shit they do. And they target, just like how they would target the slaves because the slaves ain't have shit, they target a lot of minorities, man, because a lot of minorities is doing bad. Jake is doing bad. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are in a sticky situation. A lot of them is poor. All right, but guess what? These elites freak off on seeing our people doing weird acts, man, lewd acts with each other, with them involved, and they'll pay them, what's nothing to them. $5,000, $10,000 ain't shit to them, man. All right, that's how come you got these prostitutes on Wall Street making $5,000 a day, but that ain't shit to somebody making $72,000 a day, man. Because money is power, and they have the power in their hand. Job 9:24. The world is given to the hand of the wicked. And that word hand represents power. But yeah, going back to the point that they're against each other, that's also prophesied. Matthew 12 and 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Because now you got RT, all these different stations saying names like Rothschilds is connected to this guy, Clinton, They're all wicked-ass Edomites, all right? They all have a wicked agenda to rule the world, but now they bickering amongst themselves who should be the one to rule and how they should go about it. You have Rothschilds going against Rothschilds, man, in secret. Different elite banking family. Now we want to take over next. We want to take over. Little do they know, pursuant to the book of Romans, not Romans, Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 6 to 9. Israel is up next to rule, man, after this World War III takes place. You know? And you can see a lot of nations is hating the United States. A lot of nations is hating Israel because Israel is just an extension of the United States via proxy army to fulfill what's written about in Jeremiah 50 and 51, man. The coming destruction of the daughter of Babylon. All right? People are hating. Hey, man, Isaiah 47. The skirts is being pulled upon a lot of these nations, and they being revealed for what they are, primarily the nation of Edom. All right? America. What's going on in America, man? And it starts with the prophets, which we are, some with the apostles and elders, man. The Most High has his prophets out there. Once the prophets came out there, starting with Abba Bivens, man, this man's been going down ever since, right around 1964, the moment he called himself going on the moon, which he didn't do. Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So how's their tongue falling upon themselves? You got YouTube, all these different alternative medias, all right, which was releasing quotes, man. All right, pretty much of them telling on each other, man. You got this guy Alex Acosta, which had the opportunity to put Epstein in jail back in the early 2005, and he didn't. He's saying, look, man, he's intelligence. I was told to leave him alone. So he just told on him. He just let you know, like, look, this guy's intelligence, man. See, so they just flipping on each other, man. And it's not an act. It's not something staged. They really are bickering and beefing amongst themselves, man. Sometimes they might act like they hate each other, but sometimes they really do hate each other, man. They have different interests. You know? And this child sex rings of 14, 15-year-old, man, it goes worse than some of the things that they were doing, man. You see, the Catholic Church got a child sex ring, and what happens when a Catholic priest sleeps with one of the little boys? All they do is relocate him. So you have thousands of people that went to Epstein's Island doing all types of freak shit. Some of them got caught. What they did, just relocate, pat on the wrist, you know. But now it's like, look, man, this guy's about to really be put on trial if they don't kill him. And a lot of people are invested and have interest towards Epstein, man. The CIA, the Mossad, they set him up, man. I mean, when I mean set him up, they use him to tie to a lot of people, a lot of powerful people, man. A lot of powerful Edomites, primarily, what they call rich white men. All right, Jake can't get around this circle, man. You crazy? But not even that. Jake got a different spirit. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you got a different spirit, man. Because guess what? We all might have watched porn one point or another. All right? Well, when you come across porn as a black man, a Latino man, and a so-called Native American man, you're trying to find big booty Latinas, man. Big booty Asians and shit like that, you know? You want to see sexy women. But when they do pornography, well, they want to see little kids. And it shows you how crazy it is because, hey, man, when I was a little ass kid, and yeah, I watched porn, man. We all did. I wanted to see girls that were grown. You know, I didn't want to see. I'm talking about when I was in the elementary. All right. I didn't want to see no girl my age, you know, even though I liked girls my age at that time. But I wanted to see some big titties and ass. I wanted to see grown ass women. So even at a young age, you know, when puberty is kicking in and you start a heavy, want to reproduce and replenish the earth, your eyes are still looking towards grown ass men. You're not looking up. You're not going on porn as a kid trying to find females your age as a kid. You know, Jakes don't do that. But here it is. You got the so-called white man, which is perverse by nature. They into that shit. All right. So my point being is not even Jake kids want to look at other Jake kids naked, man. Jake on porn started looking at some sexy ass Latino woman. All right. Some big titty Asians, man. You know. That's what our people be looking at. Even though pornography, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man. I mean, the scriptures say where there's no law, there's no sin. But, man, look, man, porn could fuck with your mind. Straight up, man. That shit could fuck with your mind, man. You know? Seeing another man pound a woman and shit, that shit could fuck with your mind, man. So, I mean, personally, man, it's like, you know, I don't really fuck with that shit like that. I'm just coming straight. you know. But I'm prior to the truth, and I was younger. I'm being real, you know. All right, so it says this is Leviticus 18 and 21. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. I want to bring the scripture out to prove that what child sacrifices been going on, man. They been doing that shit. But back in the ancient world, it wasn't no, oh, you're gonna get some jail time, and there was none of that. So they was able to act out their lust, man. That's how these nations are. They want to sacrifice to their gods, and they would do it. They would use human sacrifices. Now in today, since everything is done in mystery, they do it underground. All right, because if they wanted to, they could end all child trafficking ring. They could end it, man. They could say, or another way they could end it. They could make it legal, which is something that they're working on. They try to make pedophilia what they call pedophilia. All right, and in some cases it is pedophilia. All right, once you start going below the age of 12, or below the age of when a woman, before she hits the flower of her age, that is pedophilia. But they into that shit too. I'm talking about 9, 8 years old, man. Weird shit. They want to have sex with them. They want to sacrifice them, and there's no new thing under the sun. They can always do shit like that. It says, "And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua." So you're not supposed to take the Lord. You're not supposed to mix the Lord's name up with any BS, anything outside of the temple. You shouldn't be associating Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua with these lewd acts that these people do, such as child sacrifices, human sacrifices, homosexuality, bestiality, lesbianism. These things are an abomination to the Heavenly Father. All right, and guess what? You do have certain Jakes that's trying to make it up there. Jay-Z, Chris Tucker was around Epstein, but they claim that he just went to Africa. Naomi Campbell. You have our people that's associating themselves with this devil, but that's the same thing they did back in the Garden of Eden when they bit back in the forbidden fruit of the knowledge, man. They bit into that forbidden fruit, man. That occultism, that do as thou wilt philosophy, the lies. Hosea 10. I'm gonna read verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. And now I mean, oh, they're not 12 years old yet, so it don't count, because the so-called Jew will tell you that madness, man. A boy is not a man, so you can lie with it. See, they'll pervert the scriptures in that way, man. All right? No, man, the Most High Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is for procreation. Okay? So if you have thought, if you are sexually attracted to the same sex, you have demons on you. You have a spirit on you, all right? Sent forth by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to fucking plague your mind, man. To ultimately give you damnation, man. Because that's the penalty of homosexuality. When the missiles come and that spirit is on you, then there's no way you're going to make it. It's impossible. All right? Because a homosexual and effeminate, whoremongers, 1 Corinthians 6 chapter tells you that these things, type of spirits on people can't inherit the kingdom of heaven, man. But that's what's heavy here in America. Because America is the toes and it's that feet in a statue, man. And what does your feet do? All right, it holds up the rest of your body. So just like the statue that Daniel saw, and these Edomites coming towards the latter end of the foot in the form of the Romans and the Americans and whatever they like to call themselves, Europeans. All right, they holding up the feet, holds up the body. So too does America hold up all the the mysticisms and philosophies and lies of the kingdoms afford, man. The Most High has it crumbling down upon themselves, man. And you kind of seen a glimpse of what's going to happen to all these rich elites. This guy going from a $77 million mansion that was given to him, he didn't sort of day in his life for it. Now he's in bars, suffering. And that's going to happen to all you elites, man. Starting primarily with you Rothschilds. Ecclesiastes 1:9. Okay, well, hey, that was all the scriptures. So yeah, man, pedophilia. You brothers could check out that documentary on 10 reasons why Perv will love the Roman Empire. And you know what, man, it's very graphic. A lot of it is disgusting. I didn't plan to see or hear none of the shit that I saw, but what I wanted was to pull out some facts of some of the customs that these Romans and Greeks were doing that I may use it to assist me in the show. And man, I'm talking about graffiti. Like, you know how niggas be drawing all types of body parts and graffiti and the shit on buildings? The Romans were doing the same shit, man. Writing books on some weird shit. Bigging up pedophilia. Talking about I'm bored with women, so the boy is better. Just these people are freaks, man. They're fucking disgusting. But the Most High is going to put this thing to an end very, very soon, man. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. With double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well. And salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.